Steve here with Alloyed RPG. In this episode, we will walk you through character creation. It takes all of about 5 minutes to build a character for the game. Of course, this video will take longer because I'll be explaining everything, but we'll show you how to go from this to your character sheet here. Rules for the core game are posted in the description on the channel. Like and subscribe. Let's start with a quick tour of the character sheet. We'll go over each part later. This is the character name, description, and tag section. Gear and magic, magic ability, notes, your core abilities. Here you have a mastery track, alignment, corruption, aging. This is your hit point track right here. And of course the logo. Gotta have the logo. One of my favorite parts about Alloyed RPG is that you can literally play any character you want to. If you're in a hobby shop and find a cool mini, you can play that character. If you want to create something totally on your own on the fly, maybe a fusion of all kinds of stuff, you can play that too. You can play an animated frying pan. It'll still work in Alloyed RPG. In this example, I wanted to use an old character I had for a D&D 5e campaign. I had a really cool mini for it and just wanted to use it, so I converted it to Alloyed RPG. We'll start here with the character name, description, and tags. So in this case, his name is Camp Green Lake. He is a retired ranger. And then here's where I put the backstory. So this guy was an old military guy, retired to a farm to live a quiet life. Politicians took his land, and now he's been on the road ever since. Part of his sort of character is that he really dislikes the government, especially when they oppress the people. So that's that. As far as tags go, these tags are just descriptions. None of them have any kind of stats associated with them. So you can just say whatever you want to. This is just a way for you and the GM to have an idea of who this guy is. So in this case, he's a tough old bird. He is rough. He is practical, efficient, and streetwise. Next up for character creation is choosing an alignment. Alloyed RPG uses a very simple 5-point alignment system. You've got good, bad, follows the rules, breaks the rules, and then neutral in between. We always suggest that if you're starting out, don't really know what you want to do, haven't maybe played an RPG before, either go with neutral, number 5, or just play a character that closely matches who you are as a person. So all you have to do then is just put the check mark near it. So in this case, like a number 2 is somebody who is good but breaks the rules, and there's examples of that in the rule book. Next we have the abilities section. Abilities go from -5 all the way up to +5 max, but to start with, every character is given 3 points to distribute in whole numbers among 3 things: body, mind, and spirit. We kept it very simple. So body is your character's overall physical ability. That includes everything from physical strength to stamina to dexterity, whatever. Physical tasks like lifting, jumping, running, all those, that's body. And your tags are going to be what you use to kind of dial in your character's particulars, okay? Whether they're agile, whether they're strong, that kind of thing. Mind is your character's overall mental ability. So this wraps wisdom, intelligence, street smarts, all of that together in mind. So this is solving puzzles. It's going to be things, some magic casting involves mind, but it's your overall mental ability. Spirit, that's your sort of character's overall, we call it unbreak ability. You know, how well they do under pressure. Can they withstand perseverance, endurance, all of that kind of stuff? What kind of grit does your character have? So in this case with Camp, he's got a very heavy spirit, so he'll tough it out regardless of circumstances. So I gave him a 2, and then his mind is a 1. And then body, he's old, so I didn't do anything for the body. Now these will, again, go up and down through the game. You can go down to -5 or up to +5 as the game progresses, but you start out with just 3 points. Now, where would any RPG be without a cool list of gear? I mean, look at this guy. He's got all kinds of neat things. A bow staff, he's got a rope, a bow and arrow, a hatchet, hat, cloak. All kinds of cool stuff to use throughout the campaign. Now here's the catch. In Alloyed RPG, gear is limited to whatever a character can carry on their person. There are no bags of holding. You are the bag of holding. So Gear is limited to 10 slots, 10 pieces of gear. New characters start out with 7, and you can only have a maximum of 2 weapons and 2 pieces of protective gear. Now the gear list is pretty extensive. I would say it's comprehensive, but generalized. So it doesn't matter, for example, if you want to carry a pike instead of a spear, it's still a jabby, sticky thing and does the same thing. You can call it a pike and make it a little different. Doesn't much matter. Still counts as 1 weapon slot, 1 gear slot. Back to our example with Camp, I decided to start him out with a magic wand that counts as a weapon. I'll talk about magic in just a second. And that's loaded with dark vision, invisibility, iron skin. So there's the 3 slots for that. He has a bow with 10 arrows. He's got gloves, a rope 50 foot, and a canteen. So that's his 7 pieces of gear to start out with. Now, one of the biggest differences between Alloyed RPG and other RPG systems is how Alloyed RPG handles magic. In this game, magic is treated as gear, so every magic takes up a gear slot. Characters can have a staff or a wand, they can have both, but 10 is the limit on your gear. Now, a staff can hold up to 10 magic, and starting characters get 3 to start with. A wand can hold up to 3 magic, and starting characters get 1. You can have both, but again, the total of all the magic will just be 10 gear slots. So that means that as you are adding magic, if you want to be just a sole devoted magic user, as you get more and more magic under your belt, your gear goes away too. You may be left just holding 1 staff loaded with 10 magic, kind of like Gandalf or whatever it would be. And that's how it goes. Magic can be lost, stolen, broken, used against you. It is treated as gear. So back to my example with Camp, you saw that he had a magic staff. That staff is considered a weapon. So you can use it, but it does take up one of your weapons slots. You have a max of 2 weapons. So if you have anything magical like that, a staff or a wand, it's considered a weapon. I loaded it up with 3 magic, so that took 3 gear slots. Now, as far as it goes, an empty wand still counts as a weapon. And yeah, you can use it as a stick. You can whack somebody with it or whatever. An empty wand, you can poke somebody with it. An empty staff, yeah, you can use it as a walking stick or whatever. But it still takes up 1 gear slot, and it still counts as a weapon. So you might as well have at least 1 magic loaded onto it. Every non-magic weapon that you have adds 1 to your attack. So in this case, he has a bow, and that adds 1 to my attack. He also has gloves. Every piece of protective gear, like gloves, adds +1 to your defense. And again, you can have total of 2 weapons, total of 2 protective gear. Magic weapons do not add to your attack, though. Last but not least in character creation are your hit points. Every character starts with 9 plus 1d6 hit points. So just roll a d6, add 9 to it, and that is your starting hit points. I rolled a 5 for Camp, so that was a pretty good roll. So 5 plus 9 is 14, and then we just mark 14 right here for our starting hit points. Well, that's pretty much it for character creation, at least to start, for Alloyed RPG. We tried to make it super simple, super streamlined, and get everybody possible into the game. Again, rules are posted in the description of this channel. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, may your dice always roll with advantage.